Hello, my name is Stacey Thompson and I'm the founder of the Performance Club, and you are watching episode 5 of the Performance Club series. Today we're talking all things perfectionism and how it can manifest within the workplace, and also the multidimensional perfectionist scale, and thinking about some of the dimensions within that. I hope you enjoy it and tune in next week for the next session.
Stacey, you mentioned when we spoke earlier about your work on perfectionism that you did for your recent masters. Tell me a bit more about that.
So I suppose I got my interest in perfectionism because I started to see it amongst all of my clients. And then also I was observing, because I meet a lot of people for coffee, and also I chat to people, and I was observing a huge, what I would call an epidemic in perfectionism behaviours. And again, I think you can observe it quite easily in society, very easily, especially one aspect of perfectionism around the social piece. So for me, I did my master's on its link to psychological distress, and I use the mediators of intolerance of uncertainty and fear of negative evaluation, because I thought those particular issues or types of behaviour within the perfectionist spectrum were problematic, especially for our younger generations. And what my data suggested was that perfectionism alone is associated with psychological distress, but also if you add in those two mediators, that it increases the risk, which was nothing that I didn't expect, but it was it was nice to get it confirmed and validated. I think what really fascinates me about perfectionism is that it's a very unconscious thing happening. And I think often when you say to somebody, oh, I think you might be quite perfectionistic, they will immediately say, well, I'm not perfectionistic. My room at my home is a mess. I'm this, I'm that. And they'll start describing other aspects of their life which they don't perceive to be perfectionistic. However, what they don't seem to realise is that perfectionism can manifest in lots of different ways. So you might apply it to your workplace, you might apply it to your body, it might apply it to your food, you might apply it to organisation, so your house might be immaculate, you might apply it to the way you study, for example. But you don't have to have all of those different kind of manifestations. It might just be in one, and for a lot of people there isn't many workplaces that don't have a perfectionist. It comes with the territory. Now, what happens with perfectionism, and if we think about human behaviour, is that a lot of our behaviours and the way we work together is very much conditioned and role modelled to us. You know, our environments influence us quite massively. Therefore, if you are already perfectionistic in yourself, you will tend to gravitate more towards perfectionism because it keeps you safe. The environment keeps you safe, and you're kind of amongst friends, right? So my work concentrated on what we call the multi-dimensional perfectionist scale by Hewitt and Flett. And Hewitt and Flett break perfectionism down into 3 main aspects. One being the self-prescribed, other prescribed, and the last one being social prescribed perfectionism. Now, that self-prescribed piece is about your expectation of yourself, and also you're highly critical of yourself on your journey towards meeting such expectations. And the other orientation is that it's very similar, but it projects it out. So you expect other people to meet your expectations, and if they don't, then they're useless to you. So you have a lot of those people in senior managers who very much act in that way. And actually, if you have that facet only, that is the only one that's not directly linked to psychological distress. So pretty much you can have high expectations of other people, but you're not distressed by that, right? Which is a little bit funny in itself. So, but the last piece, which is the social prescribed piece, which is what you feel is being projected upon you. So it could be that you feel that you have to live up to expectations that the family are imposing on you, your school is imposing on you, society is imposing on you, or the workplace, for example. And interestingly enough, that last facet is the most closely associated with suicide and psychological distress. So we have to be mindful of these types of things. I think perfectionism is growing, especially in our youth. I think we compare ourselves very much to other people's perfect lives, and I think that's because never before have we had such access to other people's lives before. So we're able to compare what kind of car people are having, what kind of job people are having, what their parents are like, what their home's like, where they're going on holiday, and we must have something better, if not on a par. So these things are all things that are interlinked. I think perfectionism is growing, and it's something that we have to be very much mindful for, and we also have to become more educated about how to deal with it. That's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to know a little bit more about me or the Performance Club, please feel free to email me at hello@theperformanceclub.co, and please tune in to next week. All the best and have a wonderful week.